Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Coffee and Cannoli podcast. This time we are talking about the Xbox One, Xbox One S, Xbox One X, whichever one you played. It's an Xbox One. So with me again today, we have on my side over here, we have Campo Reviews, and right below Campo, we have the Putty Man himself. You'll find all their links and everything in the bio down below. So with that out of the way, gentlemen, Putty, I'm going to have you start with your number 5 Xbox One game.
All right. So I'm just going to be very honest with you guys. I just put this up front for the video. I did not play much. I did own an Xbox One, but I literally barely played it. PS4 just dominated my life, but I had a few games I liked on there. So I played this on multiple consoles, but I put this on my list. My number 5 was Fallout 4.
Good choice.
Is it me?
Yeah, Campo, go ahead.
Okay. My number 5 is Caps. Lego Marvel Superheroes at 2, and Lego Batman 3.
Very good games. Very good games. My number 5 is Caps as well, and it's tied between Cuphead and Forza Horizon 4.
That's the game I missed. Cuphead, I want to play that so badly, and it came to PS4, and I still haven't played
There's
it.
There's a second Cuphead, isn't there?
There is a second one coming out, yes.
And they're doing a Netflix series. I'm going to do a review, even though I haven't played the game. I might play the game before that. Anyway.
With that animation?
Yeah.
Oh, I definitely watched that one.
Yeah,
I definitely watched that.
Yep. It's going to have
the
both
Fleischer style 30s animation.
Yes.
I love it.
Oh, man. I do too. That's the reason I want to play it. That's what drew me in and want to play it. So,
you never played Cuphead?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've never played it, but I'm aware of it. I might have to buy it. I might have to buy it. Anyway, my number 4 is Titanfall 2.
Okay,
remember, I didn't play much.
My number 4 is Caps. I got DMC 5, which is Devil May Cry, and Wolfenstein DOS.
DOS, the new Colossus. My number 4 is it's the Trilogy of games, which is the new Tomb Raider series. They were a timed exclusive for the Xbox for a while. So Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, not in that order, but yeah, the new Tomb Raider trilogy.
Okay. My number 3 is actually Killer Instinct, the Rare remake that was exclusive to Xbox. So
you and your fighting games.
I know.
Surprised it's not Soul Calibur 6.
That's actually one of the reasons why I wanted an Xbox One, because I was like, I gotta play this Killer Instinct. I kept on seeing videos and I was like, I gotta play it. So, and then
all right, is me? Forza 6. 5? Was it 5? No, it was 6.
There's a bunch of them. They're all good.
I'm gonna say it was 6. I'm gonna say it was 6.
Not the Horizon series, the actual
I don't like
driving.
Horizon.
No, okay. My number 3, it's again, I couldn't really pick the first one or the second one, so it's Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
That's a good choice. Well, Putty.
Yeah, my number 2 is actually the other reason why I bought an Xbox, and unfortunately I only played a little bit of it, but the fraction I played I loved, and that was Sunset Overdrive.
That's a good game.
Oh my god, it's an amazing game.
They went on to make Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I know.
My number 2 is number 2 because of 2B, Nier Automata Become Gods Edition.
Nice.
Like absolutely amazing game. Like stupidly good game. 2B is one of my favorite characters ever. If you don't know who that is, you're gonna have to look it up.
Look it up.
Greatest cosplay.
Yes, there's a lot of it going on. My number 2, for anybody who knows me, it's The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
I was expecting a Witcher on your list.
Okay, so for my number 1, and again, I played this on both consoles, but I put it on this list because I had on this console, and that's Doom, not Eternal, Doom. 2016.
16.
My number 1 is Monster Hunter World.
My number 1 is Red Dead Redemption 2.
See, I played another console. Yeah.
Actually, it's funny. I played that game on the garbage can.
Nice.
Funny enough.
The garbage can.
I made it like 2 hours into that game, and I was like, I'm never playing this again, and I deleted it off my system.
Why?
Wow.
Red Dead Redemption 1 is my favorite game of all time. Red Dead Redemption 2 is so poorly paced. It's so boring.
I agree.
I was not interested in the character at all.
I agree.
I had no connection to what was happening, and it was so much riding horses to get anywhere. And I was just like, I don't want to live through this.
It was the fact that there was no fast travel.
I don't think it's a bad game.
No,
I'm not saying it's bad,
not.
but in my personal opinion, for the way I want to play games, regardless of how good that game is, I don't want to play that.
The Red Dead Redemption 1 and Undead Nightmare as a whole, 100% completion. I was so absorbed with those. I agree. And so when the second one came out, I did buy it. I was excited. You can ask, your brother was there when I was all excited about it. And I did play it and I did enjoy it. But I didn't understand it. And you said it perfectly. It did not pull me in. And there were so many.
I had no connection. It's because you lost. You spent so much time playing as what's his name?
John
Marston.
Yeah.
In Red Dead Redemption.
Then now you're just like, you're kind of thrown back into a very similar story that's connected to that, but you can't be him. You're like, why? I mean, it was like a mental thing. And the opening,
I think it was the fact that it was a prequel.
Yes,
maybe.
But that opening scene where it was just so meticulous, and it was so long before you could even get to the town. I was like, why am I doing this? I don't want to do this. 80-minute videos
of them just like, walking in the snow.
I was like, oh my god.
And see, what made it feel really weird is if you're a fan of the Red Dead collection and you went through the lineage, you went from straight to Red Dead Revolver to Red Dead Redemption. Huge leap. Then you go for Red Dead Redemption 2, which doesn't feel much of a big of a leap. And at the same time, the pacing, when you have Revolver and Redemption both like thrusting you into the game, and then Redemption 2, you're like,
it's very story driven, and I don't want that from a Rockstar game.
That part with the snow being stuck in that small area, I think they did that as a tutorial for getting people used to it. But I'm like, oh come on!
But it wasn't like for a tutorial. I shouldn't have to play the game for 3 hours.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah,
and I get it.
It is one of those games that suffers from, well, once you get past a certain point, that's when things pick up. And like, I think there's like 8 or 9 chapters in the game. And like, it took me till about chapter 3 that I stuck with it. And it was about chapter 3 when things started opening up. You had a bit more freedom. You can go wherever you want to go in the game. I think that's when it started opening up. And you, at least for me, the reason why it's my number one is because just the sheer immensity of the game, the way it looked. I played it on a 1X on my Xbox One X. So graphically, fidelity wise, like frame rate wise, it was slightly above.
I can fully understand that. And like I said, I don't think it's a bad game. If this was a list of what games are objectively best, I probably would have put it on the list because I think what it's capable of and the online and everything it had, sure, it belongs there. But as a list of my favorite games that I played, I didn't even play it on Xbox, but it just wasn't fun for me. It's like Witcher. I played Witcher 2. When I got to Witcher 3, there was just something about it. There was so much going on that
there's a lot of talking.
I immediately was like, I don't want to play this. I don't want to have to go buy this and then buy this and then move this stat and move this stat and have this and talk to this guy. I was like, I don't want to do that. I'm done. I was like,
let me put it this way. With number 3, with Red Dead Redemption 3, here was my
there's a third one?
I mean 2, sorry. Well, you know me, Red Dead 3. I've got that in my head. Sorry, Red Dead 3. With Red Dead Redemption 2, though, my situation is as well, and tell me if I'm wrong, and this the same thing. I actually got to where you got to, JT. I actually got to the major town because you have that small camp you're at, and then you can go to the major town. I got to that point where I had the free roam and go in the major town and was going hunting and found the collector, the bone collector, all that stuff. You know what I mean? I was doing that. But by the time I got to that point, remember you had to do a lot of that to even unlock the online part. You couldn't get online until you got to that. That is where I felt like this hurt for me. Being a person that played both Red Dead Revolver and Red Dead Redemption, I understand that they wanted to bring people in, so they slowly did it. But I feel like when you're a veteran to that game, they should have given us an option to be like, hey, we're going to let you get there quicker because you already know it. And I think that's what hurt it.
You can't, for the reason of that, there's so much story packed into that part. That's what it is. I get the tutorial thing feeling that you have, but there's so much important story there that you kind of have to play it.
But I
made it to the town too. I made it to the town. This is where I lost the game for me. Once I got to the town, I had zero want to do any missions. I just wanted to keep
Yeah,
riding
that's
around
what
and
it was
shooting
me.
people. And every
Yeah.
time you shoot one person, you cannot get away from anybody. It's like
No.
you're automatically going to die. So it
That
was like
bounty is ridiculous.
it took away the fun factor, because the other game I could just ride far enough and I would be okay. And this game was like, no matter how far I went, somebody was chasing me.
For me, it was a hard toss up between The Witcher 3 and Red Dead Redemption 2, but Red Dead just
No, but like,
the reason the only reason why I may that I was thinking to put Red Dead at number 2 instead of number 1 and putting The Witcher number 1 was the fact that until you finish the game, only half the map is available to you. You can't access the map from Red Dead Redemption, the first Red Dead, like New Austin, Armadillo. You can't go to those places until after you finish the game as John Marston. As soon as you would step foot in those zones as Arthur Morgan, you're dead.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember that. And I was always wondering about that. And see, that thing, when you visually, when you look at this game, I can understand someone new. They're like, oh, this is amazing. And it is. It's a visually stunning game. I think for me, because I was so used to the other game, I was just like you, Campbell. I wanted to get to the action. And it was just, like you said, story-driven, which looked beautiful.
No, I'm okay with the story. It's that it was so slow-paced and meticulous just to get you even in the game. I was like, you really have to go through all of this just to play this game.
The fact that you can't run in camp, you have to walk super slow in the camp.
And it was so boring. And then if you die during the mission, you had to do that walk all over again. And you had to keep doing those long, slow-paced moving forever. And it was like, I hated it.
And
I could say the same thing with BioShock. BioShock 1 and 2 are in my top 5 favorite games ever. When I got to the third BioShock, I was so uninterested with it. The fact that it wasn't underwater anymore, I just didn't care. The game's amazing, but I could care less. I wanted nothing to do with it, and I was like, that's fine. You know what I mean? I'm just weird. Gaming is not like movies or TV. I'm not going to come at it with an objective viewpoint. If you don't have me in 2 seconds, goodbye. I had so many hours invested in a game, right? Like I played 100 hours of Cyberpunk and like 70 hours of Final Fantasy. I imagine doing that with a game you don't even want to play just to beat it. You know what I mean?
But that's how it also used to be back in the day. You didn't have anything else to play. You get one game.
But you didn't even know how games were going to be back then. You just bought them and hoped that they were going to be good.
I'd buy it because the box looks cool.
Yeah, literally. I promise you,
a lot of that.
My entire PlayStation and Nintendo 64 life was the box looks cool.
I swear to you, Mega Man is not holding the gun in his hand. It's an actual cannon built into his hand. Why did they draw
Bomberman doesn't even look like Bomberman.
No, Mega Man doesn't look like Mega Man.
Mega Man doesn't look like do you ever see the
cover of the first game?
That's what I'm talking about. He's
holding a pistol. Bomberman too.
Didn't they put that Mega Man in a Capcom versus?
Yes, it was back. It was Capcom, Tekken, or SNK. It was one of those because they had Pac-Man Namco. It was the Namco one, Namco versus Capcom. You could actually play as Pac-Man, and you had the original Mega Man, and it was
the overweight Mega Man.
Yeah, the over one with the gut and everything, and he actually had.
That's amazing. I didn't even know that.
And if you can get it on Vita too, so you can actually take pictures, and you'd hold up the picture of something, and you can put your little character like doing little animations right there.
So this video that Putty was convinced that he didn't have a lot to go on ended up being a really good video.
I know,
right? See, we haven't even touched honorable mentions yet.
I have none.
You have none. JD has far better of a list than me. I just for me, the Lego, I had so much fun with that. And Wolfenstein was surprising.
Yeah.
Devil May Cry has always been a favorite series of mine. I love Forza.
Yeah.
I love 2B.
I think that's the reason why I think Microsoft Studios ended up buying Bethesda, because like you said, the Wolfenstein series is all part of that. Putty, you had Doom and you had Fallout on there which is all the Bethesda series. I think Microsoft saw the potential in these companies, and that's why they ended up buying the studio. Because I have Wolfenstein on my honorable mentions as well. I have Doom. Another one I have that nobody mentioned on mine is Gears 5.
Okay, I
hate Gears.
Okay, I'm going to say this right now, JD. I was so mad at myself. I played Judgment, and I heard so many bad things about the Gears 4, I think it was, that when the newest Gears came out, I already took back my Xbox One. And then they announced Gears. I'm like, oh, why they do it? I hope it's not good. And then all of a sudden, everywhere, they're like, this Gears is awesome. Like, I hate myself. That is the only reason why I'm mad I did not keep my Xbox One is because of Gears. And that would have been
Gears
number 5
one on my list. Is really Gears 5 was really good. Another game I have on my list that I started on my Xbox, but I ended up playing on PC was Control.
Control, I heard, is good. I never played that.
If you like BioShock, Dishonored, that type of game, you'll like Control.
Okay. Yeah, because I heard from a lot of people that it was really good. Okay, so I have my number one honorable mention was the Rare Replay Collection, but he kept talking about Killer Instinct. Did you know that there's like 30 other games that came out with it?
Well, no, but Killer Instinct actually
No, this was a Killer Instinct remake that they had on the Xbox.
That was Killer Instinct is on the Rare Replay.
Yeah, but that's the original, like,
and it's just a touch-up?
No, this is an actual from the ground up, brand new Killer Instinct.
Killer Instinct sucks. Anyways,
yeah, I liked it, and I liked it. I bought it for that, and then, like, for example, you can get the game for free. I can't remember how I got the game free, but then there was an expansion to get all the characters.
No, Killer Instinct was given away for free, but you buy the expansion for the new character or a season pass.
Yeah, that's what I got. So,
that was good. I got Battlefield 1. I love Battlefield 1. It's one of the best Battlefield games. And the last game I have here, I have South Park Fractured Butthole.
Yes.
PlayStation.
On mine, I have Far Cry 5 as well.
I have Sunset Overdrive. I deleted it because of Putty. And you said 1 too. What was your number 4?
Mine?
Yeah.
The Tomb Raider trilogy.
Yeah, I had the Tomb Raider. Originally, the Tomb Raider trilogy was my number 5 spot. But I had so much fun with the Lego series on Xbox specifically that I was like, I gotta have it. Like, I love the Lego franchise. Games.
It's amazing, yeah.
Like the depth of the Easter eggs, the costumes, every character does something different. Deep
comic cuts in those games are well made. It's done by guys who know their comics, basically.
Especially when it got to the point where people had voices. Mm-hmm. Like, because like the first games had they're just like rah, rah, and they would have like text. Yeah.
You want to hear another ironic reason why I actually dropped the Xbox One as well? When I started PS4 and Xbox One, I was in that whole mode of making videos and streaming. Xbox One's recording feature and their editor was so bad that whenever I wanted to play any games that would go over to like PS4 or that, I was getting for PS4 because they're Share Factory and everything else. And I hate that I was like that, but that definitely held me back from enjoying the Xbox One because I wanted to make videos and I didn't have a computer at the time. So all I had was Xbox One.
I just
very flawed at that.
Stopped playing it because everybody I knew who had an Xbox got a PlayStation and stopped playing Xbox. It was me and 2 other guys that I knew were the only people who still played the Xbox. So I was like, forget it. I'm just going to start playing my PlayStation. Right. And I never played Xbox ever again.
Whereas I did the only reason why I ended up getting a PlayStation 4 was because I wanted to play the exclusives. Mm-hmm. And now all the exclusives are coming.
That's what's funny about it. I've been an Xbox guy since the first Xbox. And the funny part of that whole thing is I don't even like their exclusive. I don't like Halo and I don't like Gears. I'm basically there for Forza. That's like what kept me coming back to it.
Project Gotham.
The controllers.
Yeah, but I agree with you because I got my PS2 and everyone was like, "Oh, I love PS2," but then I got my Xbox and I loved my Xbox way more than my PS2. Even though I know PS2 is a great console, but then 360
greatest selling console of all time.
Yeah,
they're still selling them in Brazil or something.
I know, right? But then 360 and PS3 came out, and I chose over 360. Xbox held me because I felt like they were doing better when it came to that world, and so Xbox, I was collecting everything, the figures, Gears of War, Halo, everything. I was absorbed with Xbox. And then I'd like to put it this way. This is the funny part. When I got my Xbox One, all my friends that I talked to over on Xbox 360 and Xbox, literally I was gone on PS4 for like 2 or 3 years. I came back and they're like, "Where the hell have you been?" I go, "Playing PlayStation." "You traitor." And I go, "But they have better stuff than the Xbox One." And they're like, "No, it's not." I go, "Have you given it a chance?" And they go, "Why are we giving it a chance?" They go, "Because you got to let yourself open your mind to other consoles." That's why I have an Xbox and Xbox 360. But unfortunately, we just kind of fell down the rabbit hole because I gave Sony my love after that. You know what I mean?
I don't think I don't live in a world where any console anymore deserves my favoritism. I honestly believe that, but It's Genesis that they still sell in Brazil. They still produce Sega Genesis.
Genesis
the only
does.
place in the world, but Nintendo don't. And I have the shirt. I'm not wearing it. I wish I was.
Yeah.
I got Steve Zissou.
Zissou.
I mean, Aquatic. The Xbox capabilities were amazing.
I think Putty's having a seizure.
Sega. You mentioned Sega. I'm fanboying over that. You know what I mean?
The Xbox One's capabilities were great. It is. Their priorities for Xbox were all out of whack.
Yeah,
it all
killed
about
them.
Streaming and platforms and TV
they
shows and movies.
Why they made a game console?
Yeah.
They called it the Xbox One because they said it was your all-in-one entertainment.
It was not.
I think the whole the DRM, the digital rights management, the always online, it always had to be on. Yeah. I think that kind of hurt them. It did hurt them a lot.
This is a thing, and my brother argues with me about this all the time. Just the new consoles, the new Xbox is special.
I want to play it.
I don't think anybody understands. I don't want to hear any horse crap about how fast the PlayStation boots up. I went to my friend's house. He pressed on, clicked the game, and he was playing the game in like literally 10 seconds. A PlayStation, you have to wait for it to turn on. You have to open your account. You have to click on the game. You have to wait for the game to load. Then you have to enter the game. It doesn't just put you right back in your spot. The Xbox is literally
the quick resume.
On the court in NBA.
You can literally have 5 different games or something like that on pause and just switch between them. Like
it's honestly something special. I've never seen anything like that. It blew me away.
I'll eventually get one. I want to get one.
I would like to own one. I love my PlayStation though. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love my PlayStation 5. I would have sex with it if I could.
Now, do you have the one with the disc slot, right?
Of course, that's why you buy the disc slot.
Why would I not buy the disc slot?
Right, exactly. Yeah, I think that's what it is too. I've kind of migrated a little away from consoles over the last few years. I've gone more the PC route now. Like the PlayStation 4, like right now, I'm still playing it. I'm still playing Ghost of Tsushima, right? Like it's still like, and I'm still playing right now. They just released, on Game Pass? They put the Mass Effect series, the Legendary Edition on Game Pass. So I'd like to go back and revisit that. But God of War just released on PC. So definitely got that one.
Well,
you're a God of War guy.
PlayStation's releasing their own Game Pass. They see how good it's been going with Microsoft. They're releasing their own.
But if you have a Steam account, go into your Steam account and you go like right now. If you see God of War advertised on Steam, there's actually a Sony page on Steam now. So Studios,
Sony's this entire last 12 months up to now. Sony's been trying to push PC and PlayStation gamers are getting mad about it because they don't like that PC people get to play the games. It's a whole thing on the internet right now. It's really ridiculous.
They've within the last year, they've released Death Stranding, Days Gone, Horizon Zero Dawn, and now God of War. And I think Ghost of Tsushima is coming out soon too, isn't it? Onto the PC.
Yeah. But I have PS5, so.
Final Fantasy 7 remake.
But why complain about it when you're going to get it first?
No, it's completely. Even if you don't get it first,
it's
shut
dumb.
up and play video games.
You want this company to make more games. So the more exposure that people have to your games, the better it is for
the more money people are dumping into your product. The more games that those little companies that keep getting bought out by bigger companies can make, and that's what you want. And me personally, I wouldn't buy a Game Pass. I have no interest in that. I think that's a waste of money. I only play enough games that I buy one game every 2 months. So, but PlayStation had a pass before. We had it on PlayStation 3 or 4.
No, you're talking about PlayStation now, but you weren't getting the newest games on that. They're actually pushing to do the Game Pass thing when you get the newest.
You're not going to get brand new games on Game Pass. Xbox doesn't even do that.
Unless it's a console, like if it's a Microsoft Studios.
Yeah.
So like, they'll put Gears, they'll put Forza, they'll put and Halo. Like Halo is, if you have Game Pass, you could play Halo Infinite without having to buy the game. Which that, in a way, is kind of worth it. But then again, you're paying monthly, $20 a month, whatever it is.
Yeah, and when it comes to money, Microsoft's a powerhouse compared to PlayStation. So
PlayStation's online servers are hosted by Microsoft.
Yeah. Well, Microsoft is like a multi-billion-dollar company. Sony is only afloat because of the movie and the PlayStation side of their company. Their electronics are trash. So they're not really doing anything big. But it's just like they're just trying to keep people interested, and that's fine. PlayStation is good, Xbox is good. We got way off topic.
Yeah, I mean, all consoles are.
Sega. Putty's saying, bring back Sega. We need a new Sega console. The Dreamcast too.
Happen.
Yeah.
If it did, you would see me standing there like, take my money, like Fry from freaking Futurama. You know what I mean?
Shut up and take my money.
Yeah,
exactly. I wouldn't mind seeing Sega come back into the race.
If they did and they did good, I'd be so happy. But
Sega's still making games. Anybody else? Campo, I know you mentioned Monster Hunter World. I have that on my. That was one of my top honorable mentions.
To me, it was just like I've played Monster Hunter before. I really like the one on 3DS. But it had been so long since I'd played it. I don't remember what it's called. But
is that game based on that movie with Mila Jovovich?
Yes.
Yes.
But it reminded me of playing Shadow of Colossus. And it was just so massive and big, and the graphics were so amazing. And for that time, I hadn't experienced anything like that. And I think that's why it's my number one. It's not so much that it's the best game on my list. It is a really good game.
Yeah.
But it's so epic in scale, and it just makes you feel like, wow, I can't wait to come back and continue playing this game. And that's what I like. Whereas
sometimes you would battle those monsters for like an hour at a time,
and they would not die. You'll just keep going and going and going and going. But they just look so good.
Yeah, visually it looked fantastic. I could tell by the look on Putty's face he's done.
I have no honorable mentions. It's not that I don't love the Xbox. It's just
but I mean, most of my honorable mentions, like you guys have mentioned, DMC 5, Monster Hunter, Fallout. I want to say GTA 5, but most of my GTA 5 is on PC.
Yeah,
I've
been watching that new thing you were doing with the new storyline with
Dr. Dre.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so
I get to play the game now without actually having to
play the game. See, there you go. And another game I sunk a lot of hours in on my Xbox was Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
I heard that's good. So
that's out of the three of them. Like right now, I'm still playing Valhalla, but I'm still liking Odyssey a little bit better.
Which one is Odyssey? The Egyptian one?
No, that's the Greek.
Yeah,
ancient Greece. The Egyptian
one, like with the guy and the girl.
Yes, you could choose either one.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but on that note, guys, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks again for joining us, and happy gaming.